Good day everyone, I'm Ayumi Mycaella Melchor from BSIT 3rd year 5. In this presentation, I will discuss my work for the Python laboratory activity challenging version, specifically Lab 2 and 3, which focuses on variables, data types, and conditional statements. These concepts are very important because they are the foundation of all programs, no matter how simple or advanced. Now, let me walk you through each task. For the part 1, variables and data types, there's three problems, and the first one is student information system. In this program, it is a simple system that asks the user to enter student details, such as the student ID, full name, and section. After that, the program also asks for 3 grades. Since grades may include decimal values, I made sure to convert them into a numerical form, which is the float, so that they can be calculated correctly. Once all grades are entered, I computed the average by adding the 3 grades and dividing the total by 3. After calculating the average, the program displays all the information in a neat and organized output, including the student's ID name, section, individual grades, and the final grade average. I also formatted the grades and the average so they show a clean decimal format, making the output look more professional and readable. And for the second problem, it is a salary calculator. This program collects salary information from a user acting as an employee. It asks for the employee name, the basic salary, and the number of overtime hours worked. I use a fixed overtime rate and a fixed tax percentage to calculate the employee's correct earnings, which is included in the instruction. The overtime pay is computed based on the number of hours, multiplied with the overtime rate. After that, I computed the gross salary by adding the basic salary and overtime pay. From the gross salary, I computed the tax deduction using the tax rate provided. And finally, the net salary was computed by subtracting the tax deduction from the gross salary. The program then displays the employee name, gross salary, the computed tax amount, and the final net salary with proper formatting, so it looks like an official payroll computation. And for the third problem, which is online shopping cart, in this program, it is a small shopping cart system that asks the user to input 3 different products. For each product, the program asks for the product name, how many pieces or quantity were bought, and the price per item. After collecting all the entries, the program then calculates the total cost of each product by multiplying its quantity by its price. After getting the results for the 3 products, the program adds all individuals' totals to get the overall total bill. In the last part, it prints a summary showing the 3 items with their quantities, unit prices, and total cost. It also shows the final total amount to be paid. The result looks similar to a grocery or mini store receipt. And I also formatted the values so that prices are displayed properly with decimal places. From these 3 programs, I learned how to properly gather user input, convert data types when needed, perform mathematical computations, and show a clear and organized output. I also learned how important formatting is when displaying results, especially when working with grades and money values. And move to the part 2, which is conditional statements, and it also has 3 problems. The first one is leap year checker. This program asks the user to input a year and then determines if it is a leap year or not. A year is considered a leap year if it's divisible by 4, using an if condition. The program checks whether the entered year meets this requirement. If the condition is true, the output displays that it is a leap year. Otherwise, it displays that it is not. This activity shows how conditions can be used to verify rules and produce correct outcomes. And for the second problem, triangle type identifier. In this program, the user enters 3 values that represent the sides of triangles. The program then compares the 3 values using conditional statements to determine the type of triangle, which is equilateral, all 3 sides are equal, and isosceles if it's any 2 sides are equal, and the last one is the scalene, all sides are different. The output tells what type of triangle is formed based on the values entered. This demonstrates how conditions can be used to classify or categorize data. And for the third one is the number comparison game. This program asks the user to input 2 numbers and then compares them using conditional statements. The output will show whether the first number is greater, the second number is greater, or both numbers are equal. This activity shows how comparison operators and conditions can be used to evaluate input values and display accurate results. And all these 3 problems focus on decision making using conditions. The main goal is to practice how a program changes its output depending on the values entered by the user. And for the last part, which is part 3, conditional statement, it uses if-else statements, which means every condition has only 2 possible outcomes. Either the condition is true or false. This section applies conditional logic to real-life situations such as scholarships, billing, and login validations. And the first problem is scholarship eligibility. This program asks the user to input their grade and checks whether the grade qualifies for a scholarship. Using an if-else statement, the program compares the entered grade with the required passing or qualifying grade. If the grade meets or exceeds the scholarship requirement, the program shows that the user is eligible. If not, it displays that the user is not eligible. This activity shows how conditional statements can be used to determine qualification or approval results. And for the second problem is electricity bill calculator. In this program, the user enters the number of kilowatt hours consumed. The program then calculates the electricity bill based on a pricing rules using if-else. The total bill may increase or stay at the base rate depending on the consumption level. This program demonstrates how conditions can affect pricing and how simple billing systems work based on usage. And for the third problem and the last problem will be username and password validation. This program asks the user to enter username and password, then checks if both values match the correct or stored login credentials. If both username and password match, the program displays that login is successful. If either is incorrect, the program displays an error message. This activity demonstrates basic authentication logic which is commonly used in login system and security features. And for the overall conclusion, from all the problems in part 1, 2, and 3, the main focus is learning how to collect input from the user, apply the correct data types, perform computations, and use conditional statements to produce proper results. Part 1 focused more on data input, mathematical processing, and formatting. Part 2 applied decision making using if and multiple conditions. Part 3 continued with if-else logic but focused more on approval, billing, rules, and validations. Through these exercises, it becomes clear how programming can be used to solve real-life tasks such as computing grades, payroll, billing, categorizations, discount systems, and login verification. These activities show that even simple programs can be useful when the logic and conditions are applied correctly. And that's all. Thank you.